Well, hello everybody and welcome. Please smash that like button on your way in. Let people know that we are live. We are going to be covering the Bryan Kohberger hearing today. It is scheduled to start in about half an hour. I'll give some shout outs, but there's some things I want to show you before we start the hearing. Butterfly Dana, hope you are here. Hope you could make it back. Debbie Johnson, hello. Teresa, hello. Kate Bell, Lori Forbes, Charlotte, hello. Charlotte, hello. Lisa, Git, Kindalee, hello. There she is. Hello, Butterfly Dina. Come to Ryan Christie. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Okay, so the first thing, here, let me show you this. This is, we'll put this up. I don't know if I can add this to a background. Let's see if I can. Let me see, solo layouts. Oh, it's not visible in solo layouts. So it won't let me do it. Oh, well. Let me see if I can still pull it up over here. This Norton antivirus. I will pull him up. Okay, so this is what he is looking like lately in his new garb. Crazy, eh? So that's what he's looking like now, being able to wear a suit and everything instead of jail garb, which, I mean, there's no jury right now, so I don't think he should be able to wear this until it's time for his trial, but they are allowing him to wear this stuff. So, hello, Leslie, Terry, Judy, Shivani, Melmac, Cleta. So, I mean, I don't think he should be able to wear this for these hearings and motions and everything. I think this should be safe for trial, but they are allowing him to wear a suit, which is, I don't know, beyond me. It makes me sick, really. But anyway, so let's get into, let me get rid of that. Let's get into what I want to share with you before the court starts. And I have some new photos, you guys, that are a little disturbing. Somebody was there today and took some photos, and you're going to be interested in those and seeing those. So let me just go through this and let you know what's going on. It says Bryan Kohberger's attorney says there's no connection between him and the Idaho students who were killed. In a new court filing by an attorney for Bryan Kohberger, the suspect in the stabbing deaths of the 4 University of Idaho students last fall, the lawyer is Jay Logson. He's going to argue that there's no connection between Mr. Kohberger and the victims. Now, today they have a few motions that are going to be heard, and one of them is they want a stay on the proceedings. Another one is they want the prosecution to release the grand jury materials and transcripts. But this lawyer is saying that there is no connection. He says there's no explanation for the total lack of DNA evidence from the victims of Mr. Kohberger's apartment, office, home, or vehicle. Now, I tend to take offense to that because he had weeks to clean up said apartment, office, home, his parents' home, and his vehicle They did catch him while they had him under surveillance, cleaning his car, bleaching with bleach. We have a comment from his sister that she felt very uncomfortable and thought that he probably has something to do with it because he was even wearing these black gloves inside of his parents' home. The way that he took all his garbage and whatever and put it in with the neighbor's garbage instead of in their own garbage, stuff like that. Like an innocent person wouldn't be doing that, right? Yeah, so many think he's innocent. Yeah. Hello, Vera. Adegina, hello. Hello. He says the mysterious killings left the community on edge for more than a month before Kohberger was arrested. So he had a month to clean everything up, right? Don't get in trouble. Who are you speaking to, Carolette? Don't getting in trouble. Don't get in trouble. You keep posting that. What is that about? I have no idea. And then you press nope. I have no idea who you're talking to because I can't. I'm doing all right. I've got my first surgery tomorrow morning. So I was a little aggravated, I guess, that this is so late in the afternoon. I was hoping to be getting in the shower, eating, and doing what I could do because I can only do that for a certain amount of time before the surgery. So, but anyway, Carolette, I don't know who you're talking to. So, anyway, he said, the mysterious killings, blah, blah. Okay, so officials have yet to offer any motive. He says a judge has issued a strict gag order in the case prohibiting all attorneys, prosecutors, defense lawyers, and those representing victims and witnesses from saying anything publicly beyond what's already in the public record. Well, I can't get zapped by talking about any of this. The defense is saying to this date, the defense is unaware of what sort of testing, if any, was conducted on any samples other than the STR DNA profiles. And they're talking about how they came to get the DNA related to Bryan Kohberger. They want every step that they took through this genealogy or whatever, however they got that DNA to match with Bryan Kohberger's father. They want to know every single step, who they looked into in that. Whose DNA they compared to, which is, I mean, on the ancestry sites and stuff, which could put other people at risk that may not even be related to him, but may be related or married into the family. They don't want their names put out there so that they get harassed and everything else. Yeah, I have a funny feeling his father knew too. But I mean, this is the defense's job to poke holes and try and make a spectacle of every single little thing. So another thing that they're bringing up is the glove, the black glove that we're not going to mention, but a certain YouTuber, ex-cop found outside. A lot of people are saying he planted it because he did this. He's the one that found the glove in the O.J. Simpson trial. There's just so much. That's why I don't allow any of that garbage on my channel. So, but anyway, the defense is bringing that glove up that certain person found, who we're not going to mention. And they are saying that Mr. Kohberger does not accept that his defense does not need to know the information regarding how the FBI got the DNA profile. So they're going to be arguing a lot of things today, you guys. I'm going to bring up, let me just get rid of this for a minute. So somebody was at the house today. And this is a reporter. Let me share my screen. And this is what the house is looking like now. Now, this reporter was there for a little bit and also got some really Some other photos, you're going to see them. Just give me a second and you will see them. Let me put this on full screen for you. You can tell very unkept. Nobody is allowed on the property. So this could be why this is like, you can see the grass is really long. It hasn't been kept up, and trees have fallen and they haven't been cleared up. This is the outside the front of the house. Thank you very much, Vera Moy. I have one tomorrow, and then I have, which is the biopsy, and then Tuesday I have the other surgery. So, which I will probably be in for at least the day, maybe more, depending on what they find, if they've got to remove something, or I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. But there's some grad stuff that's been added to this now because she would have graduated. And it just looks to me ominous. Like, I just find this creepy. It makes it really creepy with the windows all boarded up. It's like, I don't know. But then he came across these photos. This is after he took those other photos that I guess they were wrapping up to leave, because there's really not much to see. I just showed you the other pictures. Really not much to see. The house is boarded up. But then this truck shows up and it says disaster response on the side of the truck. They've got this black tarp over it again. We seen this happen before the house was boarded up, when they were taking belongings and stuff out of the house, which I don't think should have been done. I think the house should have to be left exactly the way it is until at least after the trial. So if the jurors want to see the crime scene, they could. Hello, Marie. But it looks like they're even going in and cleaning up even more. So I don't know what's going to be left for the jury to really see, if they so request. And here is another angle of that. So the house was boarded up a while back, but like I said, we seen them taking things out just a few weeks after the murders happened. But before the house was boarded up, they had a U-Haul truck there. The sheriff or chief of police was there, and he was involved in taking that stuff out. I don't know why the chief of police would be there to do that. Usually that is, carried out by maybe others, but this is, let me make this big. Okay. Oh, you guys can't see this. Dang it. Hang on a sec. I don't know why my screen is not entire screen. Let's do that. Okay. Sorry, you guys. So here's the second one. This is the one that has the grad little bears and stuffies and everything here. I mean, it just looks ominous. It looks, as you guys, is scary, creepy. I'm trying to find the right words. No, it's my street. It was me. So this is what I mean. Here's the next one now. This is today. After the first two pictures were taken, they were going to get, like I was saying earlier, they were packing up, ready to leave to get over to the courthouse when they seen this truck pull in. They put out the tarps and everything, and they've now gone into the house. You can see on the side of the truck here, it says disaster response. So to me, it looks like they are in there cleaning up more. And here's another angle of that. So like I was saying, we did see the sheriff or chief of police, whatever it was, go in and taking out items from the people who lived there that were still alive. And I just think that this is wrong. I think that the house should have been left the way that it was until after the trial. Yeah, just like the Murdoch case. Yes. Oh, Journey's Angel, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not really worried about the one tomorrow. It's the biopsy. They just make a little slit by my belly button and whatever, but it's the next one that I'm worried about. But anyway, it just looks ominous. It looks void. Like nobody ever lived there. Nobody, like it. You know, when you go to a place that has been sealed off for years and years, like old tunnels, and I don't know, it just gives me a really weird vibe. Oh yeah, they would have had to go in hazmat, but this is the disaster response. There's a pickup and there's this big. So I do believe that they are going to be taking things out to have this vehicle, this size of a vehicle there. I do believe that they are going to be taking things out of that house. And I just don't think anything should be touched until after the trial. That's just my opinion. Yeah, it just looks void. You know, like, well, it is deserted. It is, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to find the right words for this. And it's eerie, it's creepy, it looks void, like it's almost like everything's been erased. You know what I mean? It looked bad when the windows like weren't covered, but now that the windows are all covered up, I'll just go back to this one here. Now that the windows are all covered up and everything else, it's almost like it didn't happen. It's like, I don't know if it's haunted, but it's like we're going to cover it up and it's just going to go away. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I'm trying to find the exact word I want to use to describe what I'm feeling. Um, it's almost like if you can't see the windows, then it never existed. You know what I mean? It's just an eerie, and it's like my stomach is turning. An eerie feeling that I'm getting, and I'm trying to figure out how to, yeah, like it. Oh, well, it looks almost like a corrupt, like they're just gonna cover it up like they did in the ancient years there, where everybody was buried in a tomb and wrapped and in like mummified and everything. But it's not the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I was gonna get to that, Shivani, but thank you for sharing it. Yeah, like it's almost like if they cover it up, it's like it didn't happen. And I'm not saying that in a way that the murders and that didn't happen, but they, to me, by them doing this, covering every single window and door, I know it's to keep people out and to keep people from trying to get pictures inside and stuff, but they could have put the blinds down, whatever. There's security. As you can see, there's a little booth right here that somebody is in 24/7. It's almost like if we board up the windows and everything else, it's like nothing bad happened here. Keep going. They've blurred out the house on Google Maps and the house where they got video from. But yeah, like out of sight, out of mind. If we just do this, everybody's just going to forget about it. It's like, no. Yeah, it is. Well, they could, like they did at the other crime scenes, they would have to wear hazmat suits and breathing apparatuses. I just think it should not have been touched until after the trial. Yeah, like it's the earthly spirit, exactly empty. Even though we know that house is still full of stuff of the victims, it's just void. You know what I mean? Nothing here to see. Keep moving on. You know what I mean? I don't know. I do believe once the trial's over, they should demolish it and put some kind of memorial there. Yes. The energy trapped. Yeah. I mean, energy is not bound because of stuff like this, because nothing bounds energy except for maybe some very high power magnetic fields, stuff like that, that could mess with spirit's energy. But no, I'm trying to figure out how I want to describe how I'm feeling, and I just can't. So much bad energy. Yes, exactly. It should stay intact. And as much, Vera, I want to say I want to agree with that, but there's so much good in that house too. It's like by demonetizing it the way it is, or demonizing it the way they have, like this, to me, it's like, what about the good times? What about the happy times? These victims were all friends or significant others. So many happy times, so many parties, so much life in that house. Some of the best years of their life, going to college and everything in that house. And it's like they're just wiping it all away by demonizing it the way that they have. That's the only way right now that I could even explain. It's like when I used to look at this house, especially like up here in the living room window, and this window here, that which was the window going to the stairs, like in the stairwell of the third floor. And how many times do people climb out that window and up on the roof when they're partying? And like, how many times could you see people laughing and having a good time through this window? That's how I looked at that house before they boarded it. And now it's like, nope, nothing to see here. Yes, bad, horrible things happened there. But let's not let that overrule the good times that happen there. And these girls had a blast. You know what I mean? And it's like they're just covering that up. And that's only personal to me. Because, like I said, when I used to look at this house, and I've cried looking at this house, and it's like, this is where it happened, right here with Ethan and Zaina. But to look in some of the other windows, it was like you could see the happy times, the partying, the, dancing around, and when they were imitating each other, and, so many happy times. It's like they've washed that all away with this. That's how I'm feeling. Yeah, exactly. All I see now is sadness. And when I look at places like this, I don't want to remember it by the sadness. I want to remember it by the videos I seen of them imitating each other and having fun and partying. And that's how I want to remember it. And you can't anymore. It's like, it might as well just be gone. So yeah, there was a lot of love there. A lot of love. Like, even though Kaylee had her own bedroom over here, her last time ever in that house was spent sharing a bed with her best friend. Her best friend. Like, she didn't want to be by herself the last night in that house. She wanted to be with her friend. You know what I mean? They were joyful. They were happy. Were they a little bit of shit disturbers? Yeah. Who isn't at that age? I remember my college years. But it seems to me that's all the happiness and joyfulness and love is being covered up. It's like, nope, nothing to see here. Goodbye. So to me, I don't know. I'm too sentimental, I guess. I don't know. But I have a big heart, and it's like you see the weeds, and, they weren't the cleanliest. They weren't ones to really keep up the yard that good, but I'm sure they didn't let it overgrow like this. You know what I mean? Hi, Sarah Jane. Hello, everybody coming in. It's just like it's all been taken away. It's bad enough that their lives were taken, but now being able to look at this and remember seeing through this window in some videos when they were partying and having a blast, and, it just gives more notice to what happened there instead of how these kids actually lived. it's focusing more on how they died. Oh, it's the college that owns it now. Idaho University owns it now, so. Yeah, all the happy memories, even of past tenants, you know. It's going to be starting in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm watching, don't you worry. So it's just sad that this is going to be the last images that we remember. I don't know. It's, for me, it's just, I'm going to stop sharing that because to me it's just hard to look at. Anyway, let me bring this stuff back up. Okay, let me see if I got any information for you. Yeah, it's like all the love has been boarded up, taken away, hidden away. Okay, let me check and see if anybody has any updates as to what's going on there, or if they're on time. So there is a huge line outside the, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Don't come at me. I'm doing my best. Latah County Courthouse. So there is a huge lineup. And let me see over here. If you hear me getting quiet, you guys, it's because I'm looking to see if there's any information about what's happening right now, if this is going to be going ahead on time. So it looks like everything is on time. Believe me, I am watching, so when it starts, you guys are going to know. So what I am going to have for you guys are going to see it, well, not see it, but hear it first. There are cameras in the courtroom, but they are not, we're not allowed to live stream. Once the court case is done for the day, within a couple of hours, you should be able to go back and watch it all yourself, the whole live stream. They will be, whoever is doing the pool camera, they will release the live stream. Probably, it's usually an hour or two after the court case is done. So you're going to hear it as it's happening because I have people here that I'm following that are live in the courtroom and are going to be sending out information from the courtroom. So you guys are going to know before you even see it. You can always go and watch it later too, once it's uploaded to YouTube. But you're going to hear what's going on as it's happening. You don't have to wait until after the hearing. I don't blame her. You know, you never know how you're going to react until you're in that position. And as far as Ethan's mom said, she doesn't choose to attend the trial and that she doesn't want it to interfere with her joyous memory. Exactly. Like I'm saying now that I wish I never seen the pictures of the house all boarded up. I would have rather remember it the way it was with all the happy times and, stuff like that. So I don't blame her one bit. I don't blame her one bit. Lisa Byers, I'm going to remove your comment. You can't use the M word. Please mask your words. You did mask I would also want to unalive, which is the K word, but then you use the M word after that. We can't use those words here. Yeah, you can mask the word just like Vera Moy just did there. I just don't need any more strikes on myself. So no worries, hon. You didn't know. So no worries. No worries. Yeah, no now. So it's okay. We still love you. Yeah, I admire her too. Eugenie says, I feel he meticulously planned everything except the speck of DNA on the knife sheath. That is the only reason we are now watching what's unfolding. I think even without that sheath, I think they would have found him, because don't forget, there's still so much more that we don't know that they have. But somebody came forward from Washington State University and said, hey, look at, this guy, he's been acting weird. This is how he's been treating people in class and at the university. He has a white car like you are, and he started really talking about it afterwards and getting really, his whole demeanor and everything started changing once this happened. So I do think that they would have caught him anyway, but it would have taken a lot longer had it not been for that DNA. Now, the defense is also saying that there's other DNA that was found in the house. And they want to know why they haven't looked into that. I'm sure they have. There's going to be tons of other people's DNA in that house. And I'm sure they are testing or have tested it all. And if they had a reason to be there, then they had a reason to be there. Were you ever invited into the house? Were you ever here for a party? Whatever. But when you get a DNA on the murder weapon, the weapon that was used, when you have DNA on that sheath, and this guy is in that area, and all the tracking of his cell phone and car and everything else, GPS, and his DNA is on the sheath, which is the weapon that was used. Ding, 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 ding. And then you start investigating that person further, and you see that it looked like, he had been scoping out the place. There was messages sent to one of the victims that went unanswered. That all kinds of things start coming together. And circumstantial evidence has found a lot of people guilty. But when you get so much circumstantial evidence against one person, how could one person be so unlucky? Right? Think about that. When you're thinking about, and we only know a fraction of the evidence they have, right? We only know a fraction. There's tons more, believe me. And all that circumstantial evidence is pointing to one person. How unlucky can one person be? Right? You got to think about that. Circumstantial evidence has convicted a lot, tons. Just make sure you mask your sensitive words, please, please. Slapfish is finally Willow. Someone who gets it, yes. And like I said, everybody's entitled. If you think that Bryan Kohberger is being framed, all the power to you. I personally don't agree, but that's my personal opinion. And I'm entitled to that, just like you're entitled to yours. You're not going to be attacked here for thinking he didn't do it. But if you think he didn't do it, tell us why you think he didn't do it. Like, I'm telling you why I think he did do it. Please share with us why you think he didn't do it, if you think he didn't do it. Don't just, oh, he's not guilty, he didn't do it. Well, tell us why. And I'm not saying that to say that I would attack you for your thoughts, but I would like to know why you think that. Just like I explained why I think he did do it. Like, one person cannot be that unlucky to have so much circumstantial evidence, and that's only the little bit that we know, right? So it hasn't started yet, you guys. But a nice little tidbit is Kohberger is requesting a stay of the proceedings and the release of the grand jury materials, right? And the defense is saying that, you know, they need that information to build the strongest case for their client, but that information is typically private. So I don't know how much we do know that there has been times where some grand jury materials has been released to the defense in other cases, but it's not something that's typically done. Right? I agree. I agree. Veronica says, but why would police try to frame a criminology PhD student instead of a random criminal? Literally. Well, I wouldn't say he's going to be the hardest person to frame, but would be one of the hardest people to frame. Right? It's like trying to frame the Pope for something. Butterfly Dana says, very true. The college wants kids to enroll and come into college for the classes, and town wants business. Town is tarnished by this incident, right? Teresa says, I think he wanted to see if he could get away with it. You know what? All game to him. I truly believe that he thought that he could outsmart everybody and that he could get away with it. I truly believe that he thought by turning off his phone, he should have known better with that. If anything, he should have left the damn phone at home. But he's not as smart as he thought he was. You know what I mean? So I think he really tested things. And I mean, you got to think of every course and everything that he learned going through college and university. I know how much I learned because I wanted to get into forensics until I realized, like, forget it, I'm going to just puke everywhere. And it's a lot. It's a lot of schooling. And I just know I had kids. I just couldn't. But it was more so that I wouldn't have been able to stomach it. But yeah, he really thought that he could get away with this. He should have finished school first. You should have taken some more courses first, especially with GPS tracking, phone tracking, DNA. You should have taken some more courses. Exactly. It's like I would lose my shit. You know what I mean? Like, why am I being brought up in this murder trial? You know, just because I given my DNA to find my ancestors? Yeah, I would be livid. Ryan Christie says, are they wanting the grand jury info so they can really see all the info of the defense? Are they wanting the grand jury info so they can really see all the info of the defense? I think you meant prosecution there. Has that they haven't released to them or that they feel they haven't released. I just think they want to know what was said and what was said in the grand jury that got the indictment. Yeah, I'm still waiting for this alibi that he says he has. Usually somebody doesn't stand up and be silent and claim to have an alibi and still all these months later have not produced that. I've never seen that before. And I think there's another article that I read too that somebody had been in the legal field for many years. Said they've never seen it either. So yeah, I think he thought he could get away with it. Good one, Missy. You should have looked up to you do the crime to prepare to do the time. I still think he thinks he's going to beat it. He still thinks he's going to exonerate himself. Hello, Missy. That's okay. I had to read it a couple times there, Ryan. I'm so tired. We haven't been able to really sleep because of today we got a reprieve. We've been able to put our air conditioners back on today, but tomorrow we're right back under. Close all your windows, turn off your air conditioner, stay in the house. From this smoke, it's at the max. Like the scale, it's off the scales for the contaminants and toxins and everything in the air. And I've got to go to the hospital tomorrow to get this procedure done, and I'm not looking forward to it. So hello. Oh, Sierra. I'm so happy to see you. Do you think he had help? No. There's more than enough. He's not going to walk. Like I said, tell me why you think that, MSTXX. You can't just say no sufficient evidence he's going to walk. You can't say that. Tell me why you think that. We got a troll in here. You don't think I know anything about the law when I worked in the legal field in criminal law for over 30 years? Bite me. Somebody, Ahmad, get rid of this person. Don't come in my chat and start your crap, idiot. Never mind. I'll get rid of them. Bye. What an idiot. It's got to be one in every bunch. One everybody set up. He'll walk. Yeah, he'll walk around the prison yard. I love that, Veronica. Thank you, sweetie. There's one in every bunch. It's like, piss off, bite me. Like, I don't even have the time to even chew you out today. Just goodbye. Oh, they have a lot, a lot. Like I said, I don't mind people coming in and thinking that, you know, but don't start attacking me, and don't talk about things you know nothing about because you have no idea. Anyway, yes, tons of circumstantial. There's not anybody on this earth that gets that's that much circumstantial evidence, and that's only the bit that we know. Um, to be that unlucky. Thank you, Slapfish. Well, I'm glad you spoke out today. Happy to have you here. Vera, I was just about to blast. They're not worth it. They're trolls. Trolls, trolls, trolls. Nothing better to do is sorry excuse of a life that they have, that they come into people's chat and they got to do that. It's because they got no friends. They have no life. They're insignificant. They need attention. You know, they got their little 2 minutes of fame. Bye bye. Have a good life. I'll pray for you. You're very welcome. I love you. Oh. TK Sass, a blast from the past. Okay, let me check over here and see what's happening. Somebody's got their knickers in a knot. All right, so we got some information here. Okay, so right now the judge is making clarifying orders about cameras in the courtroom. There's already a very strict order in place. Now he is saying that the cameras that are allowed should not focus on Bryan Kohberger, but only show the entirety of the court proceedings. Ooh, so Bryan Kohberger is a little upset that they keep zooming in on him. So we can see him clenching his jaw and everything else. The judge is addressing a revised oh my God, I can't say it. Decimation order says there is a misunderstanding about who it applies to, says the media misunderstood. This order also applies to law enforcement. So he is offering another revised order to be sure that it's clear. Bryan Kohberger just came in the courtroom. He's not in his prison jumpsuit, but in a black suit and a dark tie. He was also allowed to wear a similar suit during the last gag order hearing a few weeks ago. The judge has just entered, and they are now on the record. So yesterday, the prosecution announced that it intends to seek the death penalty. It pointed to several aggravated circumstances, which would qualify it for capital punishment, including that multiple murders were committed, the crimes were particularly heinous, and that the defendant showed an utter disregard for human life. Now, what I do have, while we're waiting for this to update, I will show you this. So here is what was filed. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the county prosecuting attorney or hereby gives notice to the court that the defendant and his counsel pursuant to Idaho at this point in time based on the information known, blah, 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 blah. The following such are aggravating circumstances. So these are the aggravating circumstances that they're talking about. Idaho Code 19-2515, subsection 9B. At the time of the murder was committed, the defendant also committed another murder and or subsection 9E. The murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity or same Idaho Code, subsection 9F. By the murder or circumstances surrounding its commission, the defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life and or subsection 9G, the murder was committed in the perpetration of or attempted to perpetrate arson, rape, robbery, burglary, kidnapping, or mayhem, and the defendant killed, intended a killing, or acted with reckless indifference to human life, and or subsection 9I, the defendant by his contact, whether such contact was before, during, or after the commission of the murder at hand, had exhibited a propensity to commit murder, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. The state gives this notice based on the fact that it is not identified or been provided with any mitigating circumstances sufficient to prohibit the triers of the fact from considering all penalties authorized by the Idaho legislature, including the possibility of a capital sentence, which is the death penalty. Consequently, considering all evidence currently known to the state is compelled to file this notice of intent to seek the death penalty. The state will continue to review additional information as it is received and reserves its statutory right to amend or withdraw this notice. Now, they only had 6 months from the time of arraignment to file this notice. So they could at any time remove the death penalty if they so choose or see fit. So we will see what happens there. Okay, so the defense is beginning its arguments about the motions to compel the discovery of the grand jury. They want all the grand jury materials and all that. They are seeking an order directing they receive discovery from grand jury. Says prosecutor has not done anything wrong, but they disagree about when or if the defense is entitled to receive them. The defense says it's making extraordinary efforts to go through discovery, says this is not a fishing expedition, but real items to investigate this case and prepare an adequate defense. They are asking the court intervention to make this happen. Defense is listing precedent about discovery. We've asked for several things that we still need. In specific, requesting training records of 3 police officers. What? Defense is not asking for records of every officer, just 3 that have each conducted critical interviews with witnesses in the case, or that have made decisions about the interviews, made decisions about evidence, and conducted other investigations. The defense wants records to show their process, how they did it. Says that the defense has received similar records for other cases, but is not accessible without the state's cooperation. Like that, I've never heard of that before. Like, they want their training records. Has nothing to do with this case. They're going to have all the paperwork for the interviews that these 3 officers did. They're going to have either video recordings, audio recordings, both, and in paperwork form so they're going to see and hear everything that was said, every interview, how it was conducted, everything else, why they need, how these officers trained and what their training records were. I don't think they're going to get that. It's irrelevant. And to show their process, how they did certain things, I don't think they're going to do that either. Juror 11 in the house. I don't think they're going to get either of those. I don't think they're entitled to it. It's not part of disclosure. Let me go over here. Okay, let me see what else is here that wasn't in the other one. So Ann Taylor's going to focus on the first two motions to compel. Third motion to compel will be heard on a different day. Taylor is looking for guidance from the court for the discovery motions. I don't come here saying the prosecutor did something wrong. I'm saying we have a disagreement. So she wants the training records for 3 officers. She's not budging on that. 2 being Idaho State Police. She says these are the 2 that conducted critical interviews with witnesses and made decisions about evidence. We want the training records to understand their process. It's information the state agreed we should have. We asked for a deadline. I don't think Mr. Thompson is trying to withhold this evidence. I think they'll give it to me. She just wants a deadline for when she will get that. She's also talking about the white Elantra. This is info that's necessary to prepare our case. I don't think they're withholding it, but we need a court order for that too, with a deadline. These Elantra records are video footage and reports. Okay, so the second motion to compel was FBI cell phone records. These relate to Kohberger's cell phone, and the state has relied on that in the affidavit to say that he was in certain place at a certain times. This was done in December. We are at the end of June. We still do not have that information. It's information the state agreed that we could have. She wants a deadline for when they're going to get that. She said that information is also necessary to prepare for our case. There's a heightened standard now that the state has filed their intent to seek the death penalty, she says. Prosecution is going to get up to refute what she has said. Taylor says that they're asking for a lot of info from the FBI CAS team and FBI forensic examiner team so they can compare their defense and investigate. CAS team uses cell phone records that provide info that found its way into the probable cause affidavit to arrest BK. Taylor says the prosecution says we'll be getting these items disclosed to us, but we don't know when. So we're asking the court to issue the order for a certain date to obtain those records. She reiterates she doesn't think the state is doing anything wrong, but she wants a deadline. Don't forget, his trial was set for October. Like I said, I don't think that's going to go through. I can almost guarantee it's not going to go through. I don't think this trial is going to happen much into late 2024 now that they've asked for the death penalty. Whoops. Okay, so the state got up to counter argument what the defense just said, and the state says the defense has everything. The defense has everything that the state has. That includes 10,000 tips and 51 terabytes of audio and video information. The state argues the 3 officers' training records are not material to the case, and those officers will likely not even be called to the witness stand if it goes to trial. And about the FBI forensic reports, the state says the defense is seeking a specific report that is in its final stages of the review. Says it will be turned over as soon as it's ready, which should be within the next few weeks. So there's a specific report that they want. I think they got pretty close to the year of that Elantra. From that photo, if you see, I have that photo, and the car, it's so blurry. I think they were pretty darn close to the year of that Elantra that they were looking for. They knew it was a white Elantra, and they thought between a couple of years, I think it was like 12, 13 maybe, and it's a 2015. But if you look at that photo, you can't tell exactly, but you know the type of car. So when they were able to, when they started looking into Bryan Kohberger, like when they got the genealogy results and everything, and it's like, and then he has this white Elantra, so I don't know. Thank you so much, Debbie Jill. Oh my gosh, I'm glad your 11 was not here for it. She would have lost her poop. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so the last motion to compel was the FBI forensic examiner who told the state to look for a white Hyundai Elantra. We were just talking about that. Defense said it has the communications between PD and FBI about the date range, but defense does not have the official report from the examiner. The defense is asking the court to create a deadline to hand it over. Says it is necessary for the defense to prepare its case. The state says they say the state has a duty to provide discovery to the defense, but not producing discovery can be due process violation. Given that death penalty is now on the table, the defense says urgency is required in all of these materials. There is a heightened standard now that the state has announced its intent to seek the death penalty, and these are very relevant pieces of information that we need. So the judge sets a date for the final 2 motions to compel the FBI report must be turned over by July 14th, unless there is an objection by federal authorities. Okay, so now The defense is pushing back about the 3 officers' training records, says it doesn't matter if they will be called as witnesses. Don't forget, the prosecution got up and said, like, they're not even going to probably testify, blah, 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 blah. So the defense now is pushing back about the 3 officers' training records and says it doesn't matter if they will be called as witnesses if it goes to trial. They are still witnesses to this case. One officer assisted in the search at 1122 King Road, did follow-up investigations, signed lab agreements, and collected evidence. The second officer did interview with key witnesses expected to testify. Also mentioned a specialty of working with trauma victims. Interview a key witness was one of the multiple with the same witnesses by other officers. Defense says it may subpoena the officer if it goes to trial. Third officer did dozens of interviews, including after Kohberger's arrest. The officer attended autopsy proceedings, did follow-ups on tips, and made decisions about tips given to law enforcement. She said the first officer also searched for Hyundai Elantras to give to FBI, interviewed witnesses from the King Road home on November 13th, and did follow-up with key witnesses. Our concern with allowing training records for these few wouldn't open the door to obtain training records for hundreds of other officers, which can be out of our control, the state says. Can you imagine? Okay, now I want all the training records for every officer that even looked at that house. And they're saying that the second officer, that if the prosecution doesn't subpoena him, that they are going to. And the state is reiterating that if we allow the training records for these few, it's going to open the door to defense and other cases also obtaining records for hundreds of other officers, which could be outside of the scope of what's required. The third officer did tons of interviews after Bryan Kohberger's arrest. He also attended the autopsies of Zaina, Kaylee, Maddie, and Ethan, made decisions about tips, collected evidence. And the judge just all of a sudden adjourned, and they don't know why. They didn't take up the motion to stay the proceeding. We're all confused. So they were supposed to also be talking about Bryan Kohberger wants a stay of the proceedings and such until they get all of the information and reports and everything that they've been requesting. So they wanted to stay. And that was not even brought up. And that's it. They're not bringing it up. The court has been adjourned. The judge, that's his last name, Judge. So both sides have rested, and Judge says he will take it all under advisement, look at the written case law, and will release a written decision soon. Court has been adjourned. Wow. So they did not bring up the stay, so I'm assuming that they are going to drop that. I know that there is another motion that they didn't get, that they didn't want to fight today either, that's going to be heard at another date. So that's it. Court's done. There we go. So interesting. I don't think they're going to get the police's training records. I don't think they're entitled to them. And as far as the grand jury transcripts, it's a toss-up because I've seen some judges order it and some judges totally deny it. Yeah, this reporter that I was following, she was like dumbfounded. It's like, what? Wait, what? Wait, what about the stay? They hyped this up. We're filing for a stay. There was a lot of fighting back and forth in the court documents regarding this stay of proceedings. Don't forget when Lori Vallow went into the hospital, the mental health hospital, to see if she could be brought back to competency, there was a stay on her case, which means nothing could proceed regarding her until she was brought back to competency. Well, they're asking for a stay of the proceedings. Well, they've been fighting for it to get a hearing on this for a while now, and lots of court documents to back that up. Now, all of a sudden, it's not even mentioned. So I'm dumbfounded. Like, what, 30 minutes they were in court? Osiero thinks that's the judges telling us in his way. No, a lot of judges take things under advisement because they want to look up case law on it and see what exactly they can rule and what they can't. They got to go by precedent, whatever precedent is set. Now, I don't know in Idaho if any judges have released grand jury indictments, the transcripts or materials. But I don't know. That's probably what he's going to look into regarding those documents and regarding, I think that should be known already, is that the police training and how they were trained or their training records have no bearing on this case. They're going to have audio or video or both, plus written reports on all the interviews that they did. So they're going to see how they proceeded in these interviews. And a lot of them are going to be both audio and video recorded. And this is one of the reasons why they do it that way. So if they think that there's something, what I am getting kind of the feeling is that there is something in their training that they are going to try and fight or contest or whatever, or how they went about doing a certain interview or collecting a certain piece of evidence or something like that. And they know already what they want to jump on, but they want to know what kind of training that officer had first. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't think that they're entitled to that. I think it's outside of the scope of what needs to be turned over and what needs to be given. Yeah, we want their ninth grade report card. Like, I've never heard of that before. So, I mean, I know Canadian law and U.S. law are as much as they're different, they're the same. You know what I mean? So it's like 50-50 there. But this goes outside of the scope of evidence. You know what I mean? I don't see any Brady violation with not turning that over or anything. I mean, to me, in my honest opinion, you guys, I think it's outside of the scope. And I don't think that they're going to get that. But anyway, with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for being here. It will be uploaded. I think Court TV will upload it. I think they're the pool camera. So they will probably have it up within the next hour or so. If you want to actually physically see the whole hearing yourself, go on over. I think it's Court TV that has it. Go on over and watch it when they get it up. But thank you guys for being here. You guys already know what's happened, so it will be a little refresher. You'll get to see the actual visual of it, and maybe pick up on some other things that didn't come out in the stuff that come out of the courtroom. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, mods. You guys rock. We're going to end it like we always do. Please take care of yourself. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings. I love you guys to the moon and back. Bye-bye for now.